Well, it's the 20th of May, and we've had a hell of a lot of rain over the last couple of days. It's quite dry and breezy today. The yard's actually dried up, but we've had, I don't know how much rain, and it'd be interesting to know, but we have had a decent amount of rain, so I think we're ready for a dry spell now. I had a burst pipe on the back of this tractor yesterday. It didn't have a 90 on there, and that's where it burst on the bend. So it took way longer than I thought to get it back on because I ended up having to drop the hitch off underneath to get the other end of the pipe back on. So it just took way longer than it should have done. But the other thing we've been doing is just trying to prepare a little bit for using the baler again. So I took a roller off the other donor baler that's up in the scrap pile. It wasn't the one I wanted. That's not by any means the best roller, but I thought I'll just have one off spare. And I've took one of the bearings off and I've cleaned that up and re-greased it. And I'm going to do the same with the other one, so at least we've got a handful of bearings spare. Could have bought them, I suppose, but it seems silly to have a whole baler full of bearings up there and not using them. So I thought, well, if we've got some off and ready, if we do have a bearing go or a roller, Dan reckons one of the rollers has got a crack in it. So it might be handy to just have a spare roller in case that starts causing issues. But other than that, I think we're all ready to go.
Oh, I didn't think it did either. Go mowing. We've got a spell of dry weather now. Looks like it might be about 7 or 8 days, but I don't know, the window keeps moving a bit. So we're going to have a go. We're getting on towards the end of May, so it's still early. I mean, all our crops are quite far ahead because they never had any sheep this year, so all the grass is sort of a week or two ahead of what it would normally be, but it is still quite green, lush stuff to be making hay. 22nd of May. But I don't really want to, with a weather window like this, hot weather in the 20s for a week or more, you don't really want to miss the opportunity to get some stuff done, because it looks like after that, beginning of June, it's going to come wet again. So, but that might change, we don't know. So I'm going to mow a field, see what it's like underfoot. I'm a little bit wary that it might be a bit wet, especially in the shady bits, because we have had quite a lot of rain, and we're still getting rain up until yesterday. We had a decent shower yesterday, which we could have done without really, because it'd be nice just to have 2 dry days before we started mowing, but I don't want to miss potential days of wilting, so I don't know, I'm going to go and have a go. Dan, we reckon the other mower is working. We've put some new bolts on some of the blades, switched a few blades around, and it seems to be running clean without banging, so I don't know whether Dan might put the other mower on. I'll see how I get on. I think he's just changing his hydraulic filter on the tractor, so he's just going to do that first. So we'll go and have a look. This field that I'm going to mow today didn't get, as you can tell with the buttercups, didn't get any fertilizer, didn't get sprayed, because I had to walk across it. By the time it was dry enough to get on it, I felt like there wasn't enough weeds to warrant it. You can see the odd dock, and then obviously there's a little patch of buttercups there, but generally the rest of it is pretty clean. So I didn't bother spraying it, and it never got any fertiliser either. But it did get absolutely plastered in muck and digestate at the back end of last year, so looks a good crop on it, so we'll go once round and see what it's like. Hopefully it's drier than I'm worrying. Well, it's going quite well.
swath for these little fields. So we've cut the big 9 acre. Dan's just finished cutting the middle of that, and he's just come through into this field. So we'll have about 14, 15 acre, I think, down in total. And I think that will probably do for now, because it's all very well cutting stuff, but if you cut too much on the same day and it all wants baling on the same day, then you create yourself quite a lot of work. And it's quite a lot of work to get everything rode up and baled and all your bales shifted, especially if you're making hay and you're not making really heavy bales. So I think this is probably plenty. And to be honest, the weather's not really giving me that much enthusiasm. It's gone really cloudy. I don't know if you can see on the camera. It's very hot and humid, very muggy. The temperature's definitely there. It's just we're not getting the sunshine that we would prefer. So yeah, I might just finish this field and then we'll hang fire there and we'll get this tedded out. I think the plan will be to go once round with the rake and the baler and just take all the first run. You see there's a lot of the places in this field that are just permanently in shade under trees, and obviously it's quite weedy around the edges because it never got sprayed. So I think I'll just go once round. We'll take the first 3 mower swaths, and just bale it for silage probably tomorrow if it's dry enough, and get that out of the way, and then we can ted that gives us a bit of breathing room to ted the middles of the fields out, and hopefully it's all what's left in the middle should be reasonably good quality. But yeah, the only downside of this field is the blooming moles. The molehills are made a right mess. So there's bits of soil everywhere, but I'm hoping by the time it's been tedded a few times it'll shake it all out. Normally does. But if you were going to pick this up now as silage, I think you get quite a lot of soil in it if you just rode it straight up. So we'll ted as much of it as we can out this afternoon. But yeah, the other reason why I wanted to cut this field first was because this is the only one that didn't get sprayed for weeds. I've got 2 other 10-acre fields, or one slightly smaller, one slightly bigger, that I want to cut for hay, which have got a similar crop onto this, but they both got sprayed, so I'm not as worried about them getting left to go to seed, whereas I don't want all these buttercups and there's a few dots and that going to seed. Whereas if we wait till this next wet spell's gone, that's like another month yet, and everything will be well seeded by then. So that's why I want to get this stuff cut out of the way, and then if it needs spraying, we'll spray it for the second cut maybe. Yeah, it's a shame we haven't got any drone footage of this mowing session because Tasha's gone away, so we've lost our drone pilot. But she should be back in time for when we're baling it, if everything goes to plan. But yeah, it would have made a nice bit of drone footage having 2 mowers in one field. I don't know how Dan's mower's going. I haven't spoken to him, but he seems to be still going, so that's a good sign. And it seems to be doing a reasonably good job, to be fair. Yeah, not a very tidy cut. A lot of the grass has gone flat. There's been all kinds of wildlife running through it. This is Dan's mower, the Tarot conditioner, so it sort of leaves a bit more of a fluffed up swath. I don't think the conditioner really does that much on that for all the hassle. And then this is one of my mower swaths, and I think it cuts it a lot cleaner really. But I mean, I've got my top link really low, but that's as tight a cut as I can get, which is still nearly as high as my boot. But yeah, it seems to have just got under it a bit better. Although there's a big trough, look. that stuff had all gone flat. So yeah, it's going to leave a bit of a scruffy field. Bit of a waste. What can you do? I think if you'd have mowed that uphill, it would have got all that because it had all fallen down in the wind. But yeah, it's a big heavy crop. It's going to take a bit of drying. I would like a bigger mower. It'd be nice to have a 3.2 metre instead of this. Well, this one's I think 2.8. It'd be nice just to have that extra foot, I think, because it is quite time consuming. It's not so bad when we're both mowing, but if you've got two mowers going, you've got two tractors and you're using a lot of diesel. I think it'd be better to have one bigger mower. And then obviously it'd be nice to have a front mower, but we're a long way off that. So when we got back from mowing, Dan went to go and ted all the grass out. I managed to fly the drone over there. It's just down the road a little way, but I managed to reach it with the drone. So here's a little bit of drone footage of the tedding. I'll show you now. Right, it's the 23rd of May, next day after we mowed. I'm just going to go down. Dan's gone to row up the headland, so we're just going to go and bale that now. I don't suppose there'll be many bales, probably only a trailer load, if not even that. I wouldn't have thought there'd be more than a full trailer load. Dan's already tedded it out again this morning, so it's been tedded twice. I presume he's done the headland as well, so it should be dry enough. It's been quite a good day actually. It started off being quite overcast early in the morning, but it's actually been pretty bright today, so I think we've been quite lucky. So we'll go down there now and see what it's like, and yeah, hopefully we'll leave the rest of the field for hay.
Well, we've got from the gate, which is just there, to here, and we've blocked the pickup 3 times. So it's going really, really well. I think we're probably going to have to make smaller rows that aren't quite as wide, because we just get blocks here on this auger. But to start with, it blocked going into the chamber. Before you get the bale rolling, it just jams up where it goes in between those 2 rollers. But once it's rolling, it's fine, but we just keep blocking up the pickup here where the auger is. It's just like the tines aren't really heavy enough for doing this. They might need to be twice the strength. I just think the rows are maybe a bit wide. Maybe we need to just drill another hole, like 3 inches back on each side. What do you mean? Instead of going back the whole 6 inches. It's not the end of the world, 6 inches. Well, you don't want to make it too narrow, because it does make a nice bale. It's just all it takes is one lump to go in there and get stuck in between this auger and this bar, and then it jams.
Okay, well, we've got 3 bales. We'll just keep taking it very slow. I think what we're thinking, I don't know if I just said, but we're thinking that these rows are maybe a little bit too big, as in too wide, for when we're doing silage. Because when we're doing hay, we had the rake open right out, because it tends to throw it in to a smaller row when you're doing hay, as opposed to silage. It doesn't seem to bring it in as far, maybe because it's a bit heavier. So what I think we've rowed this up now, but next time we're rowing up silage, and especially a big crop like this, I think we'll maybe bring the arms of the rake in a bit, just a couple of inches, and I think that might stop it jamming up on either side of the pickup reel. But I mean, as for the chamber blocking, when you're just starting off a bale, there's not really, that's just the design of the baler. There's nothing really you can do about that. There's nothing wrong with the baler, it's just quite a poor design, and it's why they don't make balers like this anymore. I don't think there are many welger balers like this actually, because any other ones I've seen have all got a rotor feed rather than a finger feed, which obviously works better because that seems to be the design that's stuck. So yeah, one day it'll be nice to upgrade the baler, a couple of models, but I think it's going to have to do this year. So there's a lot of baling ahead of it. So we're just going to have to accept that we can only go at a very steady pace and just try and save some money to get a slightly better one. It is a big crop though, to be fair, so I should be grateful. It is. There's a lot of grass on here, so we're lucky in that sense. But yeah, Dan's just gone to go and get the wrapper, and we'll just wrap these few. But yeah, the sun's still shining, so it'll be drying a bit, but it's got a long way to go, this stuff. I think today's Saturday, I think we'll be looking at Wednesday, Thursday maybe. Well, I was wrong. We've actually got two full loads. I think there's about 28 bales. We just went once round the whole field, which is about, I don't know, it's 14, 15 acres. Once round, and then we did another strip along the tree edge where it was always in the shade. So yeah, but it's a good crop. And it's taken us probably the best part of 3 hours to bale that, because really slow going. But we've got all the rubbish off the field, and everything what's left is really nice stuff. So we'll go back and collect those bales now. Dan's wrapped them all, because he was waiting for, well, he will wrap them. We'll collect them in, and then jobs are good. Just to explain the reason behind the forklift being here, it's a cat forklift that we've had. It's been in the family for probably like close to 20 years. I'm not sure whether it was my granddad or my dad that bought it, but it's been at my brother's garden centre, and it's always been really reliable, that forklift. But just recently it's been giving him a bit of trouble, and he thinks it's a transmission issue. Whereas when it gets warm, the drive just cuts out. The trouble is, I think he had a couple of things all wrong with it at the same time. It was overheating a bit. It was a little bit short of oil in the gearbox, so we topped that up, and I don't know, we can't, it ended up here because we were going to strip it down and try and figure out what was wrong with the transmission. But since it's been here,
we can't find anything wrong with it. It seems to work perfectly fine. So my brother said to us that it only cuts out when it's hot, once it's been running for quite a while. Sort of like once they've unloaded a whole lorry load of pallets or whatever. So because it's been here a couple of days, we've used it a little bit and we can't find anything wrong with it. So Dan's going to try and just warm it up and get it to the point where we can find the issue. It's losing power. Dan says it's losing power. It's just slowly getting slower and slower. That's flat out. Yeah, I must admit I noticed that after I was using it yesterday. As I was driving it back up the drive, it did seem like it almost had a bit of a lack of fuel. Dan reckons it's losing power now, so whether it's more of a fuel issue on the engine, it's definitely not revving as hard as it was. Yeah, it does seem like it could be more of an engine problem than a transmission problem. But anyway, he's going to keep fiddling with it because we need to try and get to the bottom of what we're looking for, because there's no point stripping it all down and taking the transmission apart and the gearbox apart until we know for certain that that's what the problem is. So anyway, that explains why the forklift's here anyway. It's quite a handy little thing. But he is umming and ahhing, my younger brother's umming and ahhing whether to take the opportunity to get something with a telescopic boom so that he can unload like a lorry from one side rather than having to go around both sides. Would make life a lot easier in their yard. Not something like our JCB, but like a tele-truck version of that. But they're like hen's teeth, especially finding a diesel one. There's loads of gas stuff about, but the gas stuff seems to run really badly. The hour clock says it's done about 4,500 hours, I think. But I find that really hard to believe because it's been in daily use for about 20 years. But I suppose it doesn't rack up long, it's not running all day ever, it's only ever running for probably about an hour at a time. A lot of stop-start jobs. I don't know, is that 4,500 hours a lot for a forklift? I don't suppose it is really, because I think they kind of just go on forever and ever, don't they? Got a little bit of work to do with the baler. Broke a load of pickup tines yesterday with the big wet heavy grass that kept getting stuck in the pickup, so a couple of tines to replace, and I want to just run it and just check that all the bearings sound right, because if there's any bearings that are on their way out, we want to get them done really before we start using it again, because we don't want it to break down once we're trying to bale hay. He's got his foot right down, so that should be full power. It should be revving its bollocks off really. It is slowly getting less and less fuel. So any of you forklift wizards watching can tell us what's wrong with it. Wondering whether it could be fuel lines, if they're old and perished, sucking air in once they get a bit warmer. This one would be the obvious one. So I don't know whether it might just be worth changing some of these fuel pipes and just try it and see if that makes any difference, because it definitely does start to lose power as it sort of gets warmer and warmer. but it sort of revs up when it's in neutral, but as soon as you put it in gear it like loses power. Right, well, today is Tuesday the 26th of May and it's Tuesday today. We mowed the grass on Friday and it's pretty much hay, or a lot of it is hay. I've just been down, I've tedded it this morning and I've been down and rode up a little bit, but I wasn't quite sure how wide to have the rake because it looked like it was leaving a really wide swath, so I didn't want to row loads up. Dan's not here because he's had to go out to help my brother, but he'll be back later. So I wanted to make a start because I don't want to make the most of this weather. It's like 30 degrees and it was the same yesterday. I was buck raking all day yesterday on the case from a friend up the road, but so Dan tedded the grass yesterday, and yeah, so tedded it this morning. Most of it looks pretty good. There's only a few bits that are under trees and in the shade that wouldn't be hay, but it'd all be haylage easily. So I wanted to get a little bit baled today and then maybe the rest baled tomorrow before the rain. We might get there's a chance of rain tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, night. So that's the plan. So I've just been down and rode up 2 little headlands. I want to check the swath size, so I'm going to go and bale those, and if that's all right I'll come back and then I'll have to go back and row a bit more up. And then hopefully Dan will be back at some point and then he can take over raking or whatever, depending on when he gets back. So we'll go down and have a look. Yeah, I'm just not too sure whether this is too big a row, but we'll see how it goes. If it's leaving some, I'll have to hold the rake in a bit, but if not, if it's not doing too bad a job, I'll leave the rake like that because it makes a really nice a bale if you use the full width of your pickup. Right, well, I've done 9 bales. And I think it's maybe a day off hay. Still some tiny little bits of green in it, but it's not going to matter because we're going to wrap it anyway. But I think if you were small baling it and not wrapping it, you'd probably want to leave it another day. But it's very slow going. It's a big crop, so it'd be nice to get some of it out of the way. But yeah, I think I'm going to make the rake row a little bit smaller because it's just every now and then it's leaving a bit. It's throwing a bit out the side of the pickup, and I'm just going to end up with bits of hay left all over the field. The danger is that if you go too narrow, you spoil the shape of your bale and you don't get a nice tidy round bale. But seeing as they're being wrapped anyway, it's not really that big a problem. If you weren't going to wrap them, you want them nice and tidy, because otherwise what you end up with is the middle bit of the bale being really scruffy and it all just like falling out the bale almost when you handle them. Quite heavy considering that's as light as it'll go, but yeah, nice round bales. I think we just need to alter the rake a bit. Dan's on his way, so we'll wait for him to row some more up. I just went round this little block, like 4 acre, and I just went round twice and they've got about 14 bales, so bad crop. Right, we've pulled that one in to its next hole, which is about 6 inches, which I don't know, we'll see. What it might be make it a bit unbalanced, but I don't really want to go any further than that. What we need really is a hole in the middle so you can just go 3 inches on each rotor, but we'll try that for now and see what happens. Yeah, the trouble with that is we've got a wonky row now. It's bigger on one side than the other because the skirt in the middle, which stops it from going past centre, is obviously still stopping the grass from going, making it an even row. So he's rowed a bit up. We reckon that's the right size anyway for the baler. So he's gone to go and drill 2 new holes, and then we'll see how it goes. Even the rows up a bit, even the rotors up a bit. Right, so 48 bales we've done. I've just moved over to the other side of the field, and I wish I'd started there because this grass is like hay. I reckon those bales that I've just done there are all like hay. They were way lighter, and I should have known really, because the 4 acres that we baled basically nearest the gate, there's always been really sappy stuff. I wish I could remember what variety of grass I planted, because it's always been the same. It's always been really hard to make into hay. And but when I tedded it, I didn't think there seemed any difference across the field. I thought maybe it's sort of grown out of that. But I should have known better. We should have started over there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all nice stuff. Well, Dan's on his way wrapping. So we'll collect these 50 bales, and then get them all stacked and unloaded, and then we'll come and bale the rest tomorrow. Hope it doesn't rain. There's some small chance of a shower at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, but hopefully we'll be done by then. Happy days. We're not very impressed with this last lot of wrap we had. It's not great wrap at all. Definitely won't be buying it again, but fortunately I've got a whole pallet of it to use. Just about fit 20 bales on that trailer. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but they do fit. Happy day. Right, it's the next day. It's the 27th, I think, today. Wednesday. We're going to try and finish the hay off. Dan's been and tedded it out this morning. He's just gone ahead of me now to row up. Close the car in. Let the car go past. Dan said he was going to go once round with just one rotor, just to pull in all the little bits, wispy bits that get flicked out when you're tedding. Because the trouble is, if you go to try and get every little bit with your rake, you end up with a really uneven row. So he said he'll go round once with just one rotor and just pull all the little tufty bits into the field, and then he'll go round and do a proper row. This is where it was missing yesterday, just tufty bits like that kept missing. That was before we pulled the rake in. So it's funny, when you fly the drone over a field of hay like this, it looks completely white. It looks really odd from the sky. Well, it definitely seems like hay today. In hindsight, I should have baled this bit yesterday instead of this bit. From where I'm stood now up the field, this bit was reseeded probably about 10 years ago now. And I can't remember what variety of grass was in it, but whatever it is it's very difficult to make into hay, and I should have known better. Also, the other thing I'm not happy about is the mowing quality. The mowers really struggled to get under the grass. And it was exactly the same last year. You see, like here, it looks like there's been a lot of activity, whether there's been a lot of wildlife running through it and it's squashed it down. But yeah, the field, I reckon if you mowed the field again against you know, against the grain of where the grass has been laying, I think you'd get another 10 bales off the field. But yeah, it was exactly the same last year. I don't know, it's just, maybe it's because of the combination of the wind and the wildlife, I'm not sure. Definitely better, but I don't know whether it's still missing a bit on the side, to be honest. I don't know what to do. Loads better. We brought the rake in a bit more and it's just lovely now, 100% better. It's probably a bit of a bigger crop than what we're normally used to dealing with, so you have to take that into account in your raking, I think. But yeah, it's just flowing through the baler so much nicer, and you can just keep going. Yeah, we're up to 81 bales so far. Right, we're nearly done. Well, I am done. I don't think I'm going to get any more bales. I'm just going around picking up bits and bobs that are missed with the baler. Just trying to tidy up the field, really. But yeah, I'm on 93 bales, so add that to yesterday's, which was 48, and do the maths. 141 bales. Dan's made a good start wrapping them. Well, he's wrapped everything in here, as you can see. And it looks like he's just going through into the field I've just finished baling. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I think last year we got 96 bales off the whole lot, but it was a lighter crop, and I think I took 3 rakes of headland off for silage instead of just the one. Yeah, so that's why there was less, but I think it was a bigger crop as well, and maybe I might have baled them a little bit heavier last year. But yeah, no, I'm pretty pleased with that. Right, 28th of May, it's Thursday. We had a hell of a thunderstorm last night once we'd finished, but we did manage to get all the bales off the field, so I'm just going to finish doing a bit of stacking this morning. This is the stack we've got so far, and I've got 3 trailer loads to unload, so I'm going to get on with that. And then we've got some calves to sort out. We've got some new calves ready to pick up, but I need to get a load of wean calves out of the shed. But just before I do that, I need to do a little bit of mucking out, so just a bit of sorting out to do. A bit of catching up, and the sheep want moving as well. thought I'd take the chance to get a bit of mucking out done, because just round the feeding troughs are getting a bit mucky. So this is the empty pen, so I might take a bit of muck out each end of this pen. Don't need to do much in here, but to do that I've got to move the trough and the feeders, and then I might move this bunch of cattle over into here, clean this out. It needs cleaning out around the trough. Put a bit of, I have got a bit of loose straw left, chuck a bit of that in, and then we're ready then to bring another bunch of weaned calves here, to make a bit of space. But yeah, these they seem to do really well here. We pump them full of corn, and they're getting a bit of hay. We tried them on silage, but it's just making them go really, really loose, and they just weren't eating it quick enough to stop it going rotten. So it was just warming up in the trough, so we've abandoned that and gone back to hay. I've just bought the last bale we had left in the baler last night wasn't quite a full bale, so I thought I'd bring that, and that can go in their feed. I'm quite interested to see whether it warms up actually, because I'm pretty sure it's hay, but you never know. We moved the sheep to a different field the other day. This has been cut once. We just brought them some water because it's been quite hot the last week. It was forecast rain today, but it never came, so we thought we'd better give them some water.
It's a nice lush grass.
But yeah, it is pretty lush. The other field we were going to take them to has got way too big, so we're probably going to have to mow it, unfortunately, but this should keep them happy for a while. It's a bit understocked really. Right, next job. Little update on the forklift, because it's the last day of the month, so at the end of the video, we've had this forklift, well, you probably saw it in the beginning of the video, but we've had it for a couple of weeks and been playing around with it, and we've narrowed it down to, we think there's a fuel problem. It's struggling to get fuel. Dan wondered whether this filter housing was sucking, because this lift pump doesn't work very well, because we changed the filter, or Mark changed the filter on it thinking that needed doing, and then after we changed the filter we found it very difficult to bleed the system and get it running again. In fact, we were messing about with it, well, Mark was messing about with it all day. After that we decided that it could be this sucking air in, or it's a fuel pump issue and the pump itself isn't working as well as it should be. So to rule out this, we just bypassed the filter housing completely and put in just a little inline filter, ran it, and it runs, but as soon as you put it into gear, it will sort of rev up, but as soon as you put it into gear, it just conks out. And then what have you done with it? Have you done anything with the fuel pump? Check the solenoid. Oh, there's a solenoid on the bottom of the fuel pump, which, when the ignition's off,
kills the fuel.
It's supposed to cut the fuel off.
Which it does.
Which you think it is working?
Yeah, I took it out and it all seemed fine. And Mark had already decided it was already working.
So potentially, well, we're going to change all the hoses, aren't we? Just to rule out that it's not any hoses that are either sucking air in or collapsing. But we don't think that will probably cure the problem. I think it's probably something wrong with the fuel pump itself. Yeah. So whether you can get it out and do anything with it, or whether you just got to buy a new one or get it reconditioned, I don't know, but that'll be the next step, we think. But other than that, we can't see that there's anything wrong with the transmission, can we, yet? Well, no, it seems like it's a fuel problem, doesn't it? So yeah, from everything we've done to it, it seems fuel related. So, but we're just slowly narrowing things, ticking things off the list, narrowing it down. But reasonably confident that it can be cured. My mum's been working on these ponds this last week. She's cleared this pond edge. There was a big chunk of bamboo there. She's trimmed this bamboo back as well, and it's completely changed the look of the whole place because it's just opened everything right up. You can see right across these two ponds now. Obviously this is probably all going to want to go, all this bramble, but yeah, she's hacked all this back. She's taken all this bamboo out and she's done it pretty much all by hand with a pair of loppers. So yeah, what else has she done? She's done some clearing over the other side of that bridge. We think the bridge, there's a stone bridge here which is a bit of a landmark really for this place. There's loads of photos through the years of that bridge in various states, so we want to try and preserve it, but it is crumbling a bit, so it might be worth trying to get it repointed. So yeah, more progress. Yeah, but we've had a really nice week. In hindsight, I do wish I'd cut more grass to try and make into hay, but it's one of them, you make the decision. I probably didn't have enough faith in the baler really, but yeah, we probably could have made a lot more. It was supposed to rain today and we got nothing, so we've had a hell of a long spell, and then the next 10 days look on and off showery. I don't think we'll probably get half of the showers that they're forecasting, which will be annoying because second cut's probably not far off wanting cutting, not because it's bulked out much, but because it's all in this dry spell, it's all gone to seed. So we're going to lose quality from now on. So it'll be there's a light crop of second cut that could be cut now, and then we've got another 20 acres of big crop hay, and then 50 acres of smaller crop of hay, and it will all be ready. So yeah, we'll be desperate to crack up. Well, as soon as we have another any chance we get, we're probably going to be doing a bit more silage, because we only need 2 dry days for that really. But the next dry week we get, we're going to be back at the hay, and we're going to be fairly busy because there's be loads to do. So yeah, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.